And it all comes down to this.
Comes down to this bush. They really wanted it.
Good ward, though.
This is something we see out of Shen all the time. I think it was actually King that started it, where they would get insect Shen, just sit him in the bottom brush with Taunt, get Name first blood, and then just do whatever they wanted.
Peace.
This was like throwing back to Season 2 Reginald Annie.
Yeah.
Very good start.
So, like, just want to continue the Elise conversation because she's really contested pick around the world right now, but we haven't seen her shoot up in the LPL with the exception of Qiao, I feel. And he's tried both builds, the AP heavy build as well as the tank Cinderhulk build. Cinderhulk definitely better in competitive play, I think it's fair to say, unless you're ridiculously snowballing the early game. But she feels like she's a fantastic pick champion. So you see her teamed up with things like Thresh very often. But you also feel that if your team has to play pick style and like bait barons and things like that, it's a very hard win condition to execute in a team fight heavy manner.
Yep, nice late invade here as well from LGD. They'll get the lane swap. And they'll also take the blue buff. Shouldn't lose it here. I actually like it. Swift snuck that big wolf away. Gonna get him that camp and some nice vision. You can see them fighting for it. Last one's gonna go to PYL. And that's actually a good point. Denying that away is very important early on.
Yeah, so he was already invaded, but he managed to actually secure the wolves at the very least for the vision. That was nice of them.
That was really nice.
They knew it was one off, and they go immediately to the opposite side to take what they can.
They have to take the blue. Don't want to get 3 buffed here, so they'll form up now. V's actually going to tank it out with a bit of help from TCT. Again, lane flip situation, so it's going to go vertical here for this game.
So this is one thing that Elise does better than any jungle, and that is clear at a ridiculously fast pace, really healthy, and then tank up dragons with the spiderlings. So they've started on the right side of the map here, QG, and if they can translate that into any mid lane pressure, you feel like this early game is very far in their favor.
And between an Elise and an Ahri as well. Like, we have spoken about the fact that they may be bottlenecked into pick late game. But for the early and mid game, if they can make the pick work, then it becomes infinitely easier to have a late game pick base comp.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think the funny thing is, I guess you guys highlighted it already, Imp's going back, which is interesting, but he was fast pushing that lane. Incredibly so. And for Vayne, she really wants the kind of early gold. If it gets slowed down, she'd much prefer that.
This is actually risky, though. They're going to send 2 people into the bottom lane when there's 4 around the area. Although now Swift and V back away.
If they catch them on this dragon, I'm going to be very impressed.
In terms of timing around the map, there should be no reason that Xiaogu is still on the bottom half unless they're at their own red. So they should be able to successfully get here because they're very aware that they went for the blue buff and got that. At the very least, there's going to be an extra wave of free farm before there's a point of contention, and TBQ should arrive on time to deal with any threats such as that.
And Vayne Jana coming back into the bottom side of the map, so we will see standard lanes. TNT's got double longsword.
And Imp has double Doran's Blade.
That's
nice and bloodthirsty in the bottom lane. This TBQ is actually going to find Swift for the invade. Does he have smite? He does, but he can't quite get it. Good body slam though. PWL's going to try and follow up. Swift has to be careful.
Wow,
Jump will land. TCT's here as well. Great double NATO. Is Imp's here now. Doinby getting low. TBQ with the body slam. PYL is very close to dead. But QG are forced out of their jungle.
The numbers advantage, even Imp making his way there. Doinby doesn't have mana to deal with it. And Godby can just sit mid and farm and push the wave. And now Doinby has to recoil, has to try and get back here. He's going to miss a whole lot for that. And the end result is still Swift pushed out of his own jungle.
Yeah, one advantage is the fact that they sent PYL back. And this is when PYL and Imp love to assert dominance in lane. So not having PYL there is a good thing for now, although it's in a bad spot. Might actually freeze up when he does arrive back. But what you mentioned about the Vlad, I like the fact that Doinby went back because something you have to respect, it sounds so ridiculous, is the level 4 Vladimir dive.
And I mean,
because he shoves you in so hard, then has pull available to just dive you.
He was almost like freezing it as well, but look at the CS discrepancy from the mid laners from basically just that. I would say there was already a CS lead prior to that occurring.
Well, TNT, be very careful, my friend. He does tumble out of the way of the passive. TCT will return, but he's level 2.
Yeah, TNT's level 5 in response. He must have walked. He did. He walked away, helped with the jungle follow a lot at the start of the game, whereas PYL stuck in lane. So he'll get that up a lot quicker, and TNT gets the early advantage for it.
Level 6, pretty important here as well. Tumble will just see him tagged by Winter's Bite. And this is comfortable for TNT. He's looked very good on the Vayne, even into a player like Imp. You can see now, even standard, keeping that CS.
Oh, no.
Nice condemn, actually. But he exchanged Silver Bolt's targets.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but you can see
cool.
it did look cool. The aggression's still going to be there, though, from this Vayne and Janna bot lane. The fact that they're doing well, they're not being pushed under their turret, losing farm against the Sivir and a Braum, speaks volumes for how this game has contrasted compared to the previous 4 for the 2v2.
And we mentioned the Ahri Elise combo that can team up for some gank pressure. Swift's in the mid lane.
He's going to walk in, Godby. Now going to get caught. Cocoon is good. Doinby doesn't quite pull the charm. They're trying to bait the pull out, but the charm will miss. The pull will get popped, but the ulti's out as well. Swift will move those Spiderlings out from harm's way, and Doinby will get control of the lane.
The endless mind games of a Vladimir's pull with the CC coupled up together. Smart of Doinby to not actually throw it out and leave it as an ever-present threat, because if they comboed their crowd control, he wouldn't have died. And so they save it, they put down some damage before they threaten the second aspect of the crowd control combo, but he manages to avoid it even without the pull.
And the other thing is he actually sent Swift back to base pretty much with his ultimate, so he knew that he could shove up the lane again, buy himself another back, and continue his lane dominance. So I like the use of the Hemo Plague there, just to make sure that the mid lane couldn't, the jungler couldn't stick around, and Swift's going for a Broomglaive.
Yep. I was poorly out tone before. I can see that look on your face, but it feels very Swift to me. He knows he has to carry this game. He feels compelled to. His bottom side, Imp's going to lose that trade. The range on the bottom lane, so strong.
Yeah, doing a lot of work in this 2v2. It's so hard to push a Vayne out of lane when he's got the constant overshields from that Eye of the Storm. And Sivir is more trying to hit minions than people. So it's actually near impossible to push them out.
Especially now with B's ultimate, it's just so hard to gank any area of the map.
Godby.
There we go.
Nice bait, I guess.
I think he actually wanted to recall.
Probably.
He was hesitant, he thought there was a bait. There was no bait.
He wanted him to use mana, you know? You saw that he was low already. Doesn't matter.
He's a health-based champion. He knows. That's next level.
He's like, yeah, I got resourcelessness.
What do you have? Double drone?
Blue buff.
Blue buff, yeah.
The mid laner is disgusted at us.
Well, Swift has found TVQ. Doesn't have smite. He's going to go in. Doinby over the top as well. First blood will be on Ahri, and it's on to TVQ.
And he got the red buff as well. That's horrible news. Ahri's actually one of the most annoying red buff champions in the game. And now Godby's on the wrong side of his lane.
He's about to feel the red buff. Ahri Roth down bottom side. Heals popped. Imp has to be careful. Final hour popped in there as well. Teleport's coming down, but here's the Stand United. TCT, little too low as Akon's going to come back in the shield. Barely keeps him not alive as PYL ult, but it does sort of split the middle. V's going to flash out and he'll just be safe.
So he was trying to get greedy there with PYL, keep the slow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, now they're fighting. Doinby's getting aggressed on. Swift is here.
Got
He's
him.
around the Cocoon, does find it, but the kills through as well. The buff transfers there. Swift's going to try and get them back. Puts down the rappel, pops in onto Godby and takes him out.
That was actually well played from Swift, using the rappel to dodge the E out of the Vladimir enough to keep him alive as a very low health champion going for that Runeglaive. But the bottom lane fight was just massive for LGD. TNT had no reason to be that aggressive, except that V was telling him that he had the Shen ultimate. So a very risky, and I guess a lack of coordination between the team to actually have unwarranted aggression off the back of confidence from a Shen.
TBQ's here as well. TCT face checks.
Got ulti.
Imp's got the damage down. The ulti's good. Flash out will just keep him safe. And there are so many summoner spells being blown in the bottom lane.
That's huge, though. Janna just came back to lane. She's already low health.
TBQ.
Don't do it, TVQ. It's not worth your life.
The Runeglaive completed now for the Elise as well. He can't actually last hit the ward because there it is, because the red buff was blocking it. So manages to get that in the end, but TBQ's aggression is now very proactive. And we'll see if he can continue that trend with this mid lane.
Yeah, it's nice to see these junglers open things up, but Godby's Will of the Ancients, and now level 9, starting to prove, I think, a bit problematic for Doinby.
Very much so. He's close to the Morellos, so the sustain's not as prevalent once that is completed. But until such a stage, Godby is in such complete control of this lane that he can go do Raptors in between.
And LGD pull a very quick trigger on this Dragon. Good wards there as well. Swift will be a little late to spot them. The Spider's out. Godby's eating some harass here, but the first Dragon very forcefully. Oh, Swift's trying to steal it. No, he can't. Too many people there, and LGD get Dragon number 1. Swift going in, PWL gets caught, Doiby's going to ulti. TCT's here as well, Swift gets caught up by the stuns, gets the first kill, repels out of the way, but he's got nowhere good to go. He flashes out, but the damage is coming in. Now Godby's trying to line it up, the stun's in onto him, but Doiby can't follow in, he's got no mana. TCT dies as well to Godby. Not a good trade, but well played LGD.
And teleport burnt by the top laner. All of a sudden, Acorn has time for days up there. Doiby has no mana, and Godby is unrelenting.
He's going to dive?
If Doiby stays, he will. So he's going to force him to recall. He's going to stop the recall.
Standard mid lane
the
proxy.
most annoying proxy in history from a Vladimir right now. He's actually being blocked by minions. So he had to pull and ruined everything that he had set up for him. But wow, that was just...
He's going into the top lane?
He's going to choke down some jungle.
He's on a mission.
Tower diving top now? What is this? That has so much health back, by the way. And Swift, he doesn't want to go anywhere
There he
near it.
goes.
But now it's got to be in the top side. Pops down the ulti, but I think he missed. V will die regardless. And Swift's left wondering what the hell happened.
And he's a Runeglaive Elise. Like, they can just straight up dive the Elise if they would like.
Yeah,
what's he going to do?
Like, we look at that fight in the middle lane earlier, it felt like Swift thought he was a Cinderhulk Elise.
Yeah, he was paper. Like,
Yeah.
this is the thing. I play Elise a lot, so before the Elise hate washes over me, this is my build as well, but it is very risky.
Now getting aggressed on though. TCT's trying to chase him out. Ulti there popped onto PYL. Final hour was good. The Condemn's out. There's the Stand United for the CC. And TNT's going to get himself a kill.
And though the teleport was not available for the Shen anymore, he of course has the benefit of more than one and actually can be in that bottom lane and have an impact before Maokai can do anything. Acorn's busy with this Elise of all things sitting in the top lane.
Almost got killed actually.
So I agree, but I think it was Monty actually that said it best, was if you're a Shen and you leave lane and you lose your turret, it's actually not in your favor, because for the rest of the game, he has to now choose when he uses his ultimate really carefully, because if any damage goes onto their tier 2, that's horrible news for QG.
Yeah, so the trade-off there, and I completely agree with that, is going to be if Shen can control the lane to the point where there's no damage going to go down to the tier 2 because you've got your Barmy Cinder and you're against the tank that's not going to be able to push very well. If you can keep them under their turret, then it takes them a prolonged period of time to get to yours. And you've got a second teleport anyway.
Yeah, exactly right. And the one thing that you will say is they stuck around and took the turret there. So a 1-for-1 trade, especially with a kill, is in QG's favor. It's what LGD can do now.
Yeah. Swapping kind of down to the bottom lane here as V has popped his way down, or at least sitting here, getting harassed by Imp. But the Blade of the Ruined King is done for Vayne. TNT is kept up in CS in this 2v2. And again, it's been a rare thing in this series, but this Vayne might be the answer.
Yeah, but in saying that, he's done it off the back of a Shen. So used a very good tool on the map, and it meant a 30 CS advantage in the top lane, and quite a sizable one in mid as well.
And a lack of Cogmore kind of plays on the mind a bit, is that he's gone for the Sivir seemingly as a denial tool from Xiaogu, but it also doesn't give him a directly winning lane, and that has favored Xiaogu a lot.
Looking good so far as LGD have the pretty minimum gold lead of 1,000. Godby going to eat some trades. Doinby back with the blue buff and the Morellonomicon, so a little bit stronger now as Swift. He's got his health crystals, he's got his Null Magic Mantle, he's trying to get a bit tankier.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a while.
So going the Eve build, just going for a Runeglaive into pure tank, it looks like, with what should be, wow.
Godby's going back in. Roxx brought some friends, PWL and TVQ here as well. Doinby's out of mana despite the blue. Cocoon will miss, and LGD going to get the mid lane turret.
They're a double pick comp right now between these two in the middle lane against people that are disregarding them as champions. In fact, they're glorified minions to Godby at the moment. And that's why it's so difficult to hit him with a single pick.
Imps coming down as well. He's going to knock things down, get some mana off the Tornado. And 2-1 now up in turrets for LGD.
Not great for Xiaogu if they're being completely rotated on this map.
Mercred pick up out of Godby. just such a smart pickup against the Cocoon as well as the Charm.
And the Taunt, even.
Yeah, even Taunt, you're right. See whether he goes into something like an Abyssal next and just completely goes for some magic resistance. Then the job just becomes get Acorn with that Righteous Glory as well as Imp's ultimate on top of the Vayne. And then Vlad kills everyone else.
So I think he's going to go for a Zonias, to be honest with you, just because the utility that a Zonias gives from the active, irrespective of the resistance being not necessary at all because it's armor against a magic damage-based team. It'll give him enough capability. It's like Rumble. You always go for the Zonias just because you can then be in the front line. I feel like that's where he's going to go next.
I think for me, the funniest thing watching this game is we sort of talked about how people like to play safe during Game 5 and they'll pick all this scaling and, you know, it'll all be a very big farm fest. We've had a very aggressive game, actually, between these two teams. Action-packed in the first 17 minutes, but LGD have found themselves up with almost a 2k gold lead. Dragon number 2 is coming back up as well. 15 seconds. We'll see if Xiaogu want to try and pick a fight because they're starting to get stronger as well.
That didn't do a single point of damage.
Nope. Unbreakable. Pretty good spell.
A very comfortable position here, LGD. It feels like they've got that Sivir on the hunt available to just press the massive go button. And that massive go button is every other member of LGD. That's the point that they're at. And though they didn't accrue a massive lead in terms of farm, Acorn has.
Yeah, Acorn's massive. Look at him. He's bodying V.
Chasing him away in the top lane. 40 CS up with the Righteous Glory done. We talked about high impact teleports from Acorn in the last game in the very early skirmish in the bottom lane. Could be a similar sort of thing here. V might be able to get there twice. It's not going to have the same impact that Acorn will have once he lands into that fight. And I think knowing that, Xiaogu probably not going to 5v5 contest for this Dragon. They get a pick though. That's exactly where they want to be. LGD though have started up the Dragon.
Yeah, they're looking for the layering of CC. LGD need to make sure that people aren't going too low as Acorn's in the mid lane. PYL
needs some damage, but he'll be okay and they'll chase them out. Just threatening there with the ulti and the teleport. And second Dragon does go to LGD. They're 2,000 gold up now.
Yeah, threatening even more so by just having Acorn sitting middle is dangerous. Doesn't even need to teleport. Shen's busy in that top lane. Of course, you mentioned having the tower down impacts the way that he can work around these objectives because he does need to be a lot more particular with timing. And this plays into LGD's hand perfectly. They get themselves easy objectives and not just one.
Yeah,
they get lost.
Pushing down the bottom turret now as well. 3-1 up in turrets for LGD as they fail the outer ring. And that gold lead's creeping up. 3,000 gold, 2 dragons and a kill up. And everyone's getting stronger and stronger.
Ryla's Crystal Scepter?
Maybe. From
or Haunting Guys.
Or Zonia's. Except there's a random ruby crystal.
Yeah, you know what? Mid lane special.
Yeah, exactly right. He's like, I don't want to die. Mana, ruby crystal.
Yep. Totally.
Need everything. Stormby almost at his Abyssal actually, so not too far behind. Despite the CS lead there for Godv. Imp though, Infinity Edge completed, Avarice Blade done.
You know what though, the biggest difference
out on the top lane, they're teleporting in.
Oh man.
Gotta look for V. Been picked on quite a lot this game. Acorn's gonna pop his ult, PYL's gonna get taunted. But the chase down's there for Acorn. The Righteous Glory has been popped for the slow. Swift is gonna arrive just to beat Godv, and that damage is disgusting. They'll get him out safely though. Acorn's still chasing in. TBQ's trying to find an ulti. Acorn, he'll flash forward. Godvy's actually going to get assaulted by TNT. But the damage is there. TCT will split them up as the shield comes down to stop Hemoplague damage. Xiaogu disengaged, but that was real close.
Yeah, all the ultimates burnt as well. You can see only TBQ's with his left available. Doinby on the other side of the map, but what a... That was a commit from LGD, but good disengage from QG.
You know what I felt like the biggest factor was before coming into this is the Aegis that was completed for TBQ, is it just gives them this strength in numbers where they just feel innately much more tanky. And that's the time where they decide to press the big go button and actually look for an engage. Xiaogu, they did disengage really well. They got out with their lives, all things considered. And a lot was used in terms of ultimates from LGD, but in terms of summoner spells, it was all Acorn. No one else really used anything. So they can very easily fight again.
Oh, 100%. You see that once again, they're trying to set up picks, but it's just so hard against Braum, who goes in, clears out the vision one more time.
And with all that, Xiaogu playing from behind a bit more, but this lead is the closest I think we've seen in the 4 games we had before this one. Makes a lot of sense. A lot on the line here for these two teams. But Xiaogu again, they trust in their team fighting, they trust in some of the scaling they've got here. And I think TNT's the one that's probably having the best time here. He's shown he can carry on a champion like Vayne. Almost up to 2 items now as Imp rapidly approaching his 2 as well.
Yeah, so I definitely agree that right now it is TNT. Unless they set up a really good pick through Denial of Vision, which if you check out the vision on the map right now, it just doesn't look like it's going to be the case for QG. I think we can agree that. LGD just playing it very nicely. So, yeah, I agree that right now TNT needs to go massive in one of these fights, pick up a couple of kills for himself and be able to carry through with the late game damage we saw in Game 1.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of this comes down, if you look at how Xiaogu meant to turn this around from what is now a deficit, it comes a lot down to their actual denial of vision and their pick potential, because that's what they should be doing.
Oh, 100%. Like, if I was, yeah, they need to be able to control an area of the map. The problem is they've been beaten to 2 dragons, so LGD are like, we don't even care if you take one from us. So, yeah, maybe around the blue buff, something like that. Or maybe just play to one side of the map and then just invade on the other. Like, if you go deep, the odds are that LGD are going to face check you, but you can see LGD are always the team that are pushing up.
Yeah, of course, and you're doing it against the macro side, LGD, so being able to actually control set areas is
really hard.
Nigh on impossible.
Yeah.
Now LGD going to take out the pink ward, keep pushing top lane, because they know even the dragon up soon, Baron's probably the next objective they're trying to future-proof for. And V's down the bottom is getting some work done, but QG going to have to try and stop this push. The Vladimir Siva push is very real.
They've just missed both forms of CC. Do clear out the wave. Turret's very hard to push in on.
V's still pushing. QG are gaining ground. They're using the Shen pick the way they need to. And LGD looking to kind of back up.
And I really like the Wolf Smite every single time the TBQ is going into that side of the jungle, because it means that the pick is impossible if they play top side of the map now. Also means that they have inside track. Instead of having to ward 3 choke points, all you do is smite the Wolf, and if you want to rotate into the mid lane, rotate towards the dragon, you don't have to get any other vision but that Sprite.
Yeah, completely. It's wardless vision. And it's for a period of time where you know that you're safe because it will reveal them. In saying that, it's not necessarily going to reveal a whole lot at this stage. The Baron is not really a point of contention for LGD. They like to bait it. That's one thing we can take from them in this series. But actually pulling the trigger and just starting up the Baron, though they could do it reasonably quickly. They've got a lot of damage between the Vladimir and the Siva. Not what they want to actually do. And then they're not doing it against a pick comp, so it's very smart of them to not do that. But then they're also just taking this so slow. And they're actually giving what is a pick comp from Xiaogu opportunities that they probably shouldn't have to set up. Yeah,
completely agree. And you can see right now that Xiaogu wanted to trade top lane turret for a dragon. Instead, they're going to be able to grab it. No setup even around the dragon area. Maybe a collapse.
TNT's denying farm. I think you might regret that, but Imp's going to come in. We'll get the tower. Akon's arrives a little late. And Xiaogu on the same side as LGD, in fact. So if they want to fight for the dragon, they can, but TNT does need to shop.
Yeah, but that was essentially a free turret.
Yeah, completely.
Like, should have been traded for a dragon, right? Which was the original decision that Xiaogu had made.
Yeah.
It's now been traded for nothing.
And now they can set up for a dragon, potentially. PYL, he was the one that tanked a lot of the CC last time. Is pretty low. Needs to be careful that he doesn't get caught out.
Phantom Dancer done for TNT as well. Lock it there for Swift. I need to see large rod on top of Doinby's other items. LGD have started up this dragon.
Now they're trying to trade mid lane turret for another one.
I'm not sure if they can do it against Vlad. PYL's going to come in as well. LGD will get the dragon. QG probably going to be forced to fight here as V. I think trying to keep Akon busy.
Yeah.
He's actually gotten quite strong now. That Spirit Visage helping out a lot in this 1v1.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit delusional.
It's helping out. I mean,
maybe not enough.
What does helping out really even mean when it's 2 tanks hitting each other? A little bit.
It's more about noodle density in the top lane.
Yeah. He's much more dense now.
It's TNT trying to get damage done. Vayne, you know, pretty standard grain JD carry. Doinby.
Wow.
TBQ trying to make the play, but Doinby flash ulti's out.
Teleport.
Teleport here as well. PWL's going to try and give him the chair. The Stand United's in, but it can damage huge as TCT ults them away. But Akon's just going to descend upon them. Godby cleans house in the back line. And V and TCT are running for their lives. Swift is here, but he can only try and peel. He looks for the cocoon. He doesn't find it.
Look at the shot caller for LGD. He's on the other side of the map. As soon as he got to the 2 kills, he was like, Baron, we are going for it straight away. And you can see he just made a beeline for that. Aegon blew flash in the other direction. Godby was a Baron.
Not only that, he evaporated TNT. That guy did not live for long.
Oh, QG looking to fight. They pop the wards down. I think Swift might just
This
try
is a
and
steal
settle for a
only.
steal.
But this is 3 members looking for a steal. TCT's got the zone control. They've got a ward on top of it, so Xiaogu want to go for this.
Oh, Impy's flashing in, but he gets Cocoon! Blown up potentially, but TBQ's going to run in to save him. Repels down, Imp will die, but the kill's gone down. V's in the pit now, actually.
Just do
trying
the
to
Baron.
keep them off, but the
TNT's
Baron's
on
going to
his
die.
way.
Imp does actually get TCT. The Baron goes to LGD. V gets caught by Aegon as he taunts away, and TNT swoops in to save his teammate.
That was actually played well from LGD, besides Imp's flash. Because they denied any chance of a steal by killing the smite, and V had committed to going into the pit as Imp had gone for the Elise. So all things considered, it was the right idea. This maybe could have been executed slightly better, but oh my god.
TBQ going back in,
Again.
just sends them off with his ultimate. The Baron buffs here, these creeps take a long time to kill. Doinby's used his ulti. I don't think they can get this tower. QG going to continue falling behind. They're about 5,000 gold down now, but this game is much closer than any of our other 4.
Apart from the fact that finally we mentioned Godby, the man in the mid lane. He'd had a series like we honestly had not seen out of him in a bad way in a very long time. This time around, 5-1-1 on the Vladimir. Has the Void Staff, still has a Ruby Crystal.
Probably a Rylai's.
Probably a Rylai's
Look, at this
eventually.
stage, you may as well go Rod of Ages.
Yeah.
He's got the makings for it. So.
Oh, Aegon caught. TNT's going to get himself a kill. Condemns out as Doinby collects it. What can Xiaogu do with the pick?
Places you shouldn't be on the map,
Yeah.
featuring Aegon.
If you're lucky, you're going to get this middle tower right now at Xiaogu, but there's just no way. If Godby appears on the map, that area is a no-go zone.
They get half a duration off a Baron buff is actually what they get off the back end of that. So definitely a good pick to be able to produce if you are QG at this stage of the game. Danger is that 5th Dragon's still very much looming. And Vladimir, when you talk about scaling and hyper carries, obviously we don't mention mid lane as much as we mention the AD carry position, but wow, is he going to be able to do work.
Yeah, and Imp's the supplementary damage, and good damage it will be with Godby on the side.
And you know what? The Ari build is the opposite of scaling as well. It's utility-based, it's mid-game centric in terms of Abyssal and Morello's, and then the Rylai's is just to provide utility behind that mid-game focus. So they're banking on TNT.
Yeah, so I like Rylai's as a rush actually on Ari right now, but I think it's one of those builds that you go, wow.
Damage. Damage is good. Swift trying to make a pick, finds PYL. They're going to go straight in for him. All in for the support there as he is going to get low. They'll take him out as he gets his ulti cancelled. And now Imp's going to get dove on by Swift. He needs to get the kill. Imp's kiting, but he can't do it. A Stand United will finish. Gets the double taunt. Swift needs to get out of there. The rest of his team can't quite join in. And TBQ, he looks for the slow Swift, trying to run for his life. They got 2 kills, but they might still lose the fight. Acorn doesn't flash. He can't do it. And Swift is just going to get away.
And that was mostly zoning from Godby as well. They kept the carries away. And they engaged onto a Braum, which then translated towards the Sivir of Imp. He does go down, but it takes so long to take one member out of LGD. If Godby was there sooner, they were dead.
Yeah, but once again, they're delaying it. Like, that was Baron for absolutely nothing on the map. Maybe they can set up around this next Dragon fight, which you feel, by the way, that Xiaogu have to fight. Letting a team to get to 4th Dragon means that any mistake you make in the later stages of the game is a 5th Dragon buff. So definitely need to be able to get some vision around there. The way that we think they're going to win fights is with a pick. Definitely have the potential now with a 2-item Vayne to go berserk as well, but it's not going to be easy to do.
It's certainly not in this game. The tension is only mounting here as LGD try and win a domestic title for POL. Try and win 3 here for Imp, claiming 3 major championships. And Xiaogu trying to run upset. They're not just the rookies that are trying to upset, by the way. I just realized that if they win this game, they will break the Game 5 Sivir curse. This is exactly how Imp lost his last grand final. To Def Sivir. It's so fitting that he's playing it now.
Last whisper as well from a pickaxe.
Yeah.
That's pretty gross.
I was
Speaking
more
of Sivir,
disappointed in Godby. He sold his Ruby Crystal.
No, it's just not good enough, really.
Upgraded it for a needlessly large rod.
You don't commit to an item to sell it, you know?
look,
I
he
bet
needed
you
the
he
Ruby
dies in
Crystal.
the next fight now.
That
would be
last pick of
justice.
red buff secures him.
Oh, they'll find a pick again. Godby's actually the target. Block it down. He pops a Hemo Plague. He pops his Zonies. Can he buy enough time? Turns United down. Imp is low in the backside there as well. Good ult there from TCT. The first kill comes out as well from TNT. And where are the rest of this team? V and Doinby going absolutely crazy in this fight. Imp's almost dead and Godby is dead. QG gonna get a dragon.
Yeah, Doinby ulted onto Imp on the backside of that team fight. And they get the dragon. They're going to get mid lane. This game back to pretty much even.
Qiao trying to beat LGD. Trying to continue that trend as TBQ gets a great pick right in the backside, but V taunts them. Doinby, though, is going to die. V is stunned. He'll fall as well. Imp gets a double, and Swift has to run. Good cocoon there as TBQ is going to keep running. The Spiderling stops. Swift's forced to flash out, and LGD answer back.
They do get out, but again, TBQ has just got Doinby's number in this game. Every single time they've tried to get that middle turret, he has flash body slam, an explosive cast on top of him.
He's playing so well.
Yeah, he's playing really well right now. And LGD off the back of what was a mistake where Xiaogu capitalized completely on them. They turn that back around near immediately, and they get something back for them.
You just can't give Civ a free time on objectives. Imp didn't die, he came back, knocked down the tower. 4-2 now in that metric for LGD.
And Imp changed his upgrade on his boot. I swear he had alacrity at the start of this game.
No, home guard.
Did he?
It's home guard, right?
Yeah, that's home guard.
No, I know that's home guard. Was it last game that he had it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. They all blur into
Xiaogu out for blood, by the way. TNT it's level 15. The mid lane turret's going to fall. Not the worst trade there for Xiaogu, who are continuing to keep the gold within touching distance.
So I like that when Xiaogu fought that, they had the QSS ready for Vayne. So it denied a lot of the damage that Godby can actually output, to the point where it was a very easy pick, even though it took them about 10 years. And to be fair, the health crystal wouldn't have saved him in that instance. So
you don't know that. We can't go back and replay it. We don't have the technology for it yet.
I'll give it 99%, so that he was going to die regardless. But the fact that they had the QSS there for TNT to prevent any damage from Godby was really well timed with the engage.
Yeah, it certainly was, but he's got a death cap now, so he looks at the Vayne and
you can't QSS damage.
Death.
Yeah.
Is Godby going to get blue buff as well? Bit of CDR for himself there. And he's a monster in this game. 345 CS at 33.5 minutes. Doinby trailing by 55. And he's not really doing badly on the item front. In fact, Xiaogu in general have kept the game relatively close. Still 4K up for LGD, but it's been about that for most of this game since they started getting ahead. And TNT, he's the big threat. If Godby's the one for LGD to look out for, TNT's damage is only getting better.
Yeah, you can see 2,000 gold, though, for both major carries, AD and top mid lane right now. Split push being engaged once again by this Shen. See what LGD want to do to try and control the map.
Oh my god. That was so close.
It was. He even got condemned after.
Do you feel it would have been the go button? It's really hard to kill the Gragas at this stage of the game still.
Oh, look, it likely wouldn't have been a go button, so to speak. It would have just been a lot of poke that would have been put down onto him.
I mean, LGD would have just, like, Sivir ulted and used the Righteous Glory and just dove on them. I'm not saying they would have won the fight, but that's generally how they play it.
I mean, Sivir's got his elixirs ready to go.
So, looking down the bottom side quickly. Oh god, V. I don't know how he knew that.
Periods of time where you may express concern for someone's safety. I feel like I would have said, oh god, TNT there.
Maybe.
I think that if there was any way of that turning around, it would have been just then.
Is that an iron elixir?
Yeah, that's been on him for a couple minutes now.
He's really tall.
That hair is magnificent.
Really tall?
Yeah, very. Swift. I mean, this game is starting to push towards the QG comfort point. I guess that's my woe for LGD. Shen's starting to split push more. QG are getting stronger and stronger. Doinby's approaching 4 items. TNT's approaching 3 plus his QSS.
Yep. So I think the comfort point is going to be the Infinity Edge for TNT, is that a lot of the commitment in terms of itemization here from Doinby is to kill Sivir.
Jesus. Imp?
Yeah.
Hello.
So that's another window where he can't team fight.
Just testing that one. Shen's still going in the bottom lane.
That's actually super bad for LGD at this stage of the game. Not having the ultimate available means that they can't engage when they would like to, and you can see have to back away.
Yeah, look at Xiao. Confident to step into the Baron pit, take the Scuttle Crab, clear away some pink wards. Buy time for Shen on the bottom side. Acorn, he can contest, but he can't really stop him at this point.
It's not Trundle-esque in that he's just going to hit the turret, but he's still going to be here. He's going to be a nuisance.
Acorn's actually winning somehow. Gonna keep going. Twisted Advance.
Again, I need to question what you define as winning. This is
he has more health, Rusty. That's technically winning.
He does have more health. I guess he won.
He also has more way to stop the teleport.
Yeah.
So that's a win.
Look, we'll check back in 17 minutes when they're almost finished their 1v1, and we'll say who won.
I think the Nexus would explode by the time before they killed each other.
35 seconds Dragon. That's probably the next objective that we will realistically get a team fight. Sivir ult will be back available, as well as everyone's flash. It's really important in these big games to keep an eye on the flashes, and everyone has it up.
I think the other thing as well is TNT. Still hasn't got that shop in. He's going now.
Going back now.
He's going to be a little late.
Yeah, so the other big item, if this is the Infinity Edge, is already the zone use from Ari. That was completed. Now these two items, pretty much simultaneously.
Running from base. They pinging out the Shen.
Yeah.
Well, they're playing Baron Vision. This is really smart. They know that if they do this, they would already have to pull off that dragon because they don't want to trade.
It's going to be an interesting decision here. Xiao really looking to work around their comp and actually
that ward
make
in the
picks.
pit means that they didn't have to go past mid lane.
And it's the same for both teams. They both have a ward in the respective opposite pit. So no one's overcommitting.
But do they do
anything.
it quick enough? I honestly don't think they do. As strong as Vayne is, I don't think they get Baron in the time that it takes to get Dragon.
Oh no.
They have a ward there, right?
They know the Dragon's being done right now. They have just teleported.
They're actually going all in on Baron.
The trigger.
They're going straight in for it. The Dragon is dead. TVQ doesn't have a smite for 15 seconds. They're going straight in.
Maybe they do have the damage.
Acorn's here. They're looking for the damage. It's getting low. They might just have enough. Can they get it? They do secure it, but the fight's now on. PYL pops his ulti in. Godvy's far too far forward. TNT gets massively chunked. The Sodges just saves him. Imp gets the kill, and it's absolute carnage in the pit as Swift dives forward, flushes in the back as TBQ's fighting V. Jana is dead. The carries are gone. Doby's trying to keep it alive, but 3-1 LGD QG pay for that Baron.
Most likely more than just 3, unless V with the empowered recall does get back to safety. They do still have the Baron buff, but they've lost so many members for that, and it was just executed well. Godv just does not die.
He does so much damage. He died in a Hemoplague plus everything else was pretty much enough to kill all the carries.
And they're trying to get the lane shoved up, maybe even looking for a turret.
Oh, 10 seconds on Jana. Vayne shortly after there as well.
Oh yeah, they are.
Where's Imp? He's right there. They're going to tank it up. V's caught. Acorn Twisted Advance there. Brawl passive pops. And Impy's just on the tail, but V, he gets the taunt. 6 spell shield there from Imp. They will break the base, but they have to run.
They do have to back off. The numbers advantage starting to play into the favor of Xiao ever so slightly. Of course, the Baron buff going to help them a bit, but as the dust settles after a fight that was really big, the only actual benefit from that is a turret against a Baron buff.
Yeah, but the Baron buff's only on 2 members. One being the Shen is great because it is the split pusher.
Yeah.
Let's take another look at it. Okay, so the Hemoplague goes down and Godby lives by the skin of his teeth, but then Imp flashes in and crits the Vayne. Like, that is all you need to say. Like, if there is ever a time to have an Imp moment, to dive into the back of a Baron pit, that's probably the time.
I think I've seen this one before.
It was the same time as the Hemoplague exploded as well. That got mistimed for a QSS out of TNT. So, all things considered, TNT, yeah, he died pretty rough.
And like I said, Sivir in the Baron pit late into a game in a very clutch Game 5 moment. I know Imp has seen this one before. Xiao, what are you doing? Hiding in a brush with
They were looking for Godby. They expected Godby to be the split pusher right now. And I was actually going to suggest it myself, so I'm glad I didn't. My face would be very red because he'd be dead right now. But yeah, so what they were actually trying to do is just look for whoever's going to go control that wave. But LGD already had it slow pushing.
To get their answer, it's no one.
So they have a window here to be able to do this, and though it's not really achieving anything, the idea that it potentially could is there. They've lost their window now. Of course, it's very obvious that no one's going to be there. And so they actually hit the minions and start to push it back. But they're also the lane without the Baron buff as well.
Yeah.
They can work around the one predictable place where people may be, in this case, unpredictably not there.
So because Baron buff is probably not going to amount in anything, in fact it has just fallen off, got to give that to LGD. They're one dragon away from dragon number 5.
Absolutely. The fact that nothing was really achieved from that Baron buff besides resetting the map is going to speak wonders for the next fight that LGD put into place. The question is always going to come back to, yes, they are one dragon away from that 5th buff, which is going to be huge, but if they don't execute the fight right, if Godby can't actually get onto a carry member of Xiaogu, if he dies before he can even react, then, I mean, Xiaogu, they've got the team for it.
This game is so tense. Makes sense. Game 5, teams playing carefully. We're 41, almost 42 minutes into this game. The longest game of this entire series, I believe. We're not even done. Maybe not even close. Xiaogu, the first ones to the Dragon Pit. It's starting to get harder and harder for teams to make mistakes.
Yep.
And LGD still have that lead, but Xiaogu feel confident now. The gold leads are, sorry, the gold numbers pretty high for both sides, and the builds are almost done here.
I mean, I think it's as simple as looking at the CS discrepancies between these two carries on both of these teams right now. And that's how the game has been going. Every single time that Xiaogu have done something in a positive manner, it's basically been a pick from a position where they probably shouldn't have been.
They're pulling the trigger top lane.
Good play, LGD. Imp's going to pop the ulti. V, I don't know if he can get out of this. He's going to try. The rest of his team's not there. They're pinging mid lane. V's going to try and buy some time. He's trying to ulti out. No, he gets stopped by Akon's Arcane Smash. And now he just has to buy time.
How far do you chase?
He's got flash. He uses it. TBQ, I don't know if he can hold this off. He body slams out. V's running back towards his team through LGD's own jungle.
They stopped chasing. They started recalling.
Oh, PYL. He's found him.
Now PYL's caught.
Yeah, that's awkward. Carries have gone back. Xiaogu just get a turret out of that. It cost V a lot of summoners.
So
but he gets out safely.
LGD just pinged mid inhibitor. They just said, we're going down here now. And with the dragon up in 35 seconds, if they can keep Xiaogu within their own base, then this should be the free 5th dragon for them.
Yeah, they don't want Vision to go over to Xiaogu. We keep mentioning it. But the Ari pick potential, especially at 6 items, a very cost-efficient build with no death cap, needs to be subbed in at some point, means that this is a very real potential. No Stand United going to be available, although TBQ went back to base.
That's very weird.
That's a very adventurous item build as well for the Vayne, I just noticed. Doesn't have a Last Whisper against Armor Stack. It's gone for what looks to be a Banshee or a
QG are like trying to tank all of this damage. They're really trying to take the sustained fight. But the poke's out there for him. Xiaogu are here, they have to fight.
This is risky. They have 100% have to fight, but LGD can play the slow game.
They can't get in.
Akon's huge. Look at him.
Akon is massive. He's getting chunked up. Swift! He dives in. He can't get the dragon. Goes off to Gragas as Doinby gets out of the way. Big ult there from TCT. Doinby goes back into the pit. And now TNT's being chased out by Akon. They're trying to buy time, but Doinby's dead to Godby. TNT, he has to flash out as well, but he'll get followed in. A triple there for Godby. TNT will die as well. And that's going to be an ace as Godby gets a quadra kill.
And how big is Akon on the back end of that team fight? 5th dragon goes across. Akon is unrelenting in stalking TNT. And what did we mention? No one else has the sustained damage to kill the Vladimir. LGD just win the team fight of their life.
The flash forward. I think Imp knows this is game. He's been in this position before. He wanted the LPL title. Looks like he's going to get it. They'll face take the turrets. And LGD in 5 games will do what they could not do to EDG in spring. They take the Summer Championship. Imp takes the Triple Crown. And LGD looks so strong moving into Worlds.
Not only the first team to make it into Worlds, now they are the first team in the Chinese region. They've done it with style.
And PYL, you deserve every bit of praise you get. They run to their trophy. Elated. They played so well. Xiaogu